Hi you guys, welcome back to the channel. So on today's video we are going to be learning how to cut and sew an off shoulder sleeve. If that's something you're interested in, come with me and let's get started. The first thing you want to do is mark out a baseline. You could call this your shoulder line, you could call this a straight line, whichever it is you want to call it is fine by you. So on that part we are going to be marking 5.5 out, and the reason why I'm marking 5.5 is when you come to your over bust, the amount that you removed is what you're going to place back for the sleeve. So for instance, I did 5.5. That's what I removed from the over bust. So I did 5.5. You could do 6. You could do 6.5 or 7.5. It depends on how low you want your top to be. But here I did 5.5. So we're going to be placing 5.5 back onto the sleeve, and then you add your sewing allowance. So for me, I'm going to be adding 1.5. Like I said before, I like 1.5, so I'm going to be using that. So that's going to give us like a 6.5. And then the next thing we're going to do is mark out 5 here, and this is like the perfect way to get your bicep measurement. So this is the distance from your shoulder to your bicep. That's what this is, and this is the perfect way to do it for an off shoulder sleeve. Next thing we're going to do is mark out a round bicep measurement and add our sewing allowance. And then we're going to use a curved ruler to make a curve on this from point to point. We've gotten our armhole curve, so the next thing we're going to do is get the length of the sleeve. Now the length of the sleeve here is 13, but as you can see I'm marking out 14, and the reason is that will be what I'll use to hem the sleeve when I'm done. 1 inch for hemming the sleeve, and I'm just going to mark out a line there. Now you want to take measurements of the round of where you want the sleeve to stop. So for instance, your sleeve is getting all the way down to your wrist. So what you want to do is measure your wrist, and you want to do this, you want to put 2 fingers underneath the tape, and this would help so your sleeve doesn't become too tight, or you won't even be able to put your hands in when you want to wear it. But since it's around our elbow, what we're going to do is just do the same thing, divide that by 2, and then mark that out here. So if you don't understand what I just said, please watch what I'm doing. Thank you. And I'm also going to be adding 1.5 inch sewing allowance as well. I'm going to put this together with a ruler. This is what the sleeve is looking like, and this is pretty easy if you ask me. You just have to pay attention. Okay, we're going to cut now. Be careful whilst cutting this, because you're cutting on the main fabric, you're not cutting on a pattern paper, so be very careful. We have our sleeve here, and you can see the curves at the end. The next thing we're going to do is cut out a band for our sleeve top. fold this material into a bias form and mark out 13. Now, to understand where this 13 is coming from, at the top here, at the top of the sleeve here where I'm pointing at, we have 6.5, and if you narrow that down you get 13 if you do the maths backwards. So we're going to be, I'll explain on the screen here. So we're going to be marking out 13 here, and you can make the band as big as you want or as small as you want. So I'm just going to make mine a 2.5, but you can go as high as 4 if you want your sleeve band to be bigger. You could go as high as 4. And we're going to put these lines together now, and we're going to cut. This into this band that we're cutting right now is actually for both sleeves. As you see, what I did at the end, I didn't cut it where it was supposed to be. I cut an extra 1 inch into it. That's because I want to be comfortable when I'm adding the sleeves, when I'm adding the band to the sleeves, and I don't have to worry about whether it's too short. Long is better than short. So you see how stretchy this is? That's how yours is supposed to look, because it's in a bias form, and it will give you that freedom to move when you fix it to the sleeve. So next thing we're going to do is fold this into 2. You take one of the bands, fold it into 2, and you place it right sides facing each other, and then sew. So again, fold it into 2 and you place right sides facing each other, and then sew. So we're done with that, and you can see how it looks here. So what we're going to do is first beat that down, and then we're just going to sew over like this. So I went ahead to iron it. See the band inside? So this is what it's looking like on the outside of it. Next thing we're going to do is put this together like so, and then we're going to mark out our 1.5 inch that we're supposed to use to close the sleeve, and we're just going to mark that out and then go ahead and sew. This is what the sleeve is looking like. This is what it's looking like on top. So what we're going to do is place it on the part where we have the front and the back coming together, and you want to make sure that where you have your joining for your sleeve is where you have your joining for your cloth, like both ends are matching, and you're just going to pin that down, pin it round. Now when it comes to the sleeve, as you can see, my sleeve fits perfectly, but if your sleeve doesn't fit, then you should go ahead and like reduce it. If the cloth part is too much, you can go also ahead and reduce it, just cut into it. But this is perfect, everything fits fine, so I'm just going to go ahead and pin it down. I'm going to be sewing this, like closing it by 1/2 inch. And you guys, this is what it looks like when we're done. This is what it looks like. It looks so neat. I'm actually falling in love with this. Yeah, this is like the back, and see, like the most important place, the middle. Look at how the bow parts are fitting just right and they're facing each other. So yeah, this is everything. I hope you try this out for yourself. You guys, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and also leave a comment down below. Don't forget to turn on your notification bells so you'll be notified when I post a new video. Don't forget to love yourself, because I love you. Bye.